This next young lady, she has been performing around Worcester for a long time under Thick Chick Comedy. Her mom tried to wash her mouth out with soap so many times when she was a kid, she now enjoys the taste of soap. So just to set this up for you, and you're going to enjoy her, so put your hands together, make her feel welcome, Serenity Jones.
All right. How we doing tonight? Keep it going for the comics that were already up here. Keep it going for Girls on the Run for putting this fabulous event together. Put it together for Adam for picking a bunch of comics that don't look like they've ran since high school. I don't know about you, but like I get out of breath going up a hill in my car. Woo woo. Woo woo. I'm just trying to find my people here. So when you heard Adam introduce me and you heard my name was Serenity Jones, like who was expecting a stripper? Who was expecting a black girl? But I love this. I love a grown, sexy crowd, much like yourself. And you know, like I know that you're all grown because you were all here on time. But I'm getting a little bit older myself. I've been wearing my hair up in a ponytail a lot because I can't afford filler. Instant facelift. I just recently got these glasses. They're called cheaters. Put them on, it's like, who turned on the lights? Just got a bodysuit, and I was loving it because like it was holding everything together. But I don't know, those snaps at the bottom came undone. It was like lips everywhere. I went out the other night to go clap my booty. It started knocking. Man, getting old is fun. So, Girls on the Run, you guys have been around for 10 years, right? 10 years? Yeah! And like, we heard some conversation from some of the people that volunteer. Is there any mentors out here in the audience? Coaches. All right, who are the coaches? I just see like one or two of you. Mary Ellen, what is your favorite thing about Girls on the Run?
Yeah, Mary Ellen, get it. Seeing the girls build their self-confidence.
Okay. That's awesome. Does anyone else want to share what their favorite thing is? I noticed none of you guys said running. None of you said running. You know, like I really wish there was a program like this when I was younger, because like I really could have used it. And I think what you're doing is amazing, uplifting young women. It's very important to do. So now that we're all besties, right? Are we all besties? All right, super. Because like I want to tell you a story, but I'm a little bit nervous. I don't want you guys to judge me. So I need to know, has anybody in the audience ever made a bad decision before? All right, great. I like to call this story Sex on the Beach. It's not just a drink for me, it's also a felony. Right? I don't care. Like we've all thought about it. Some of us have done it, and at least one of us has gotten caught. And for all of you that thought that us big girls only missionary style, surprise. You know, I love the beach. I think because it comes in waves. But I'm an Irish girl. Being out in that sun It always reminds me of the first time my mother ever slapped me. You know, I should have known that there was a problem because all of a sudden I heard the Baywatch theme song and that lifeguard ran over to us in slow motion. I just was feeling really swept away that day by the police. I went to jail that day in my bathing suit and a towel, and we don't remember anybody's phone numbers anymore, right? But there's one number that you always remember. Listen, my mother was not happy to take that phone call. She had so many questions for me that I wasn't sure if she was the DA or my co-defendant. But I knew she was setting me up. But you know, eventually I did get bailed out. And when I got into the area, I don't know if some of you, most of you probably don't know this, but like when you get bailed out, they put you into this area and your person is there. And your person is the one that takes you home. Well, when I got into that area, there was nobody there for me. And the guy knew my mother was mad. So I did anything any self-respecting woman would do. I wrapped that towel around me and I began to start to walk home. I made it about a block and a half, but I don't know if you see this right here. It rubs together. I thought my coochie was gonna catch on fire. And like it was like right at that point where like I was like ready to give up on life. I was like, put me back in that cell. They fed me pizza. And it was like right at that point that my father pulled over and he picked me up. And he took me home. And just like those bathing suit bottoms got dropped, so did those charges. Because if they didn't, this would be an awkward show for me, huh? But you can't judge me until you've walked a mile in my flip-flops. And I will tell you this, sex on the beach is the worst way to catch crabs. Getting older is no joke. I just recently had my hip replaced, and I'm getting my other hip replaced on Monday. And I feel like I've been lied to my whole entire life because I thought black men blew out backs, not hips. I'm gonna start hitting them up for some co-pays. So yeah, I just had to have major surgery, and do you know what the doctor tells you before you have surgery? There's two things that he tells you. Does anyone know what they are? Nobody knows what they are? All right, so they told me I needed to quit smoking. That should have been no problem, because like I smoke Newports, and you can no longer purchase Newports in the state of Massachusetts. So, no, but like I'm smoking Marlboro Reds with a Vicks cough drop. And they also told me I needed to lose weight. And I go by Thick Chick Comedy. It was the first time in my life that I really felt like I was owning myself and owning who I am and being comfortable in my own skin. And then that doctor, as he was telling me I needed to lose weight, like he doubled down. Ladies, we're about to do some trauma bonding because I know you're going to understand this. This doctor told me I should lose weight because I have a pretty face. All of my childhood trauma came back to me. I was seeing red. And I just sat there for a minute and I thought about like, what is the most offensive thing that I can say to this doctor? So I said, what? What do you want to do? What do you want to, fuck my face? He got out of that room really quickly. I needed to find a new doctor. And I should have known like it was already going downhill because I did this show, right? And this guy, he came over to me and he told me he wanted to pick me up. And for a bigger girl, like we like it when a guy can pick us up, right? I feel like you're gonna have a challenge later with that show. So this guy He picked me up like he had something to prove, and he actually broke my rib. I see you guys looking at me all sad, like, oh my God, he dropped her. No, he actually squeezed me so hard that I heard the rib crack. It started down here, it cracked down here, it went up my back, up my neck, to the top of my head. And that's when I heard my mother's voice. Just drink your milk, Serenity. Just drink your milk. And it reminds me of a time like I was in a club in Boston and I was dancing with this guy. I thought we were gonna hook up. This guy actually fell on me. He tore my ACL. I have a huge scar on my knee. And do you want to know what both of these situations have in common? I don't know either one of these guys' names. You know, before I got my hip replaced, like I had a really, really bad walk. Like it was like dragging my leg around. And you know, I was running into the store one time and this guy, like he told me, he's like, oh, you have a nice walk. I knew right then and there that that guy was a liar. And I did a show, and this guy came over to me, and like he looked me in the eyes, and he told me, he's just like you're looking at me, John, just like you're looking at me. He told me he was gonna change my life. And like I've been waiting to hear that for a long time. But then I noticed that this guy was wearing an ankle bracelet. I said, sir, like you've got to change your life before you can change mine. I'm still on probation. Like I don't even think we're supposed to be talking to one another. I can't date another guy when the only thing in his name is child support. You know, it's been 5 years. Like, did anyone else hear that it was like 5 years since COVID? Right? We all just heard that because we just hit the 5-year mark. Man, I don't know about you, but COVID-19, that is exactly how I like the men in my life. 19 and Asian. The pandemic, it really wasn't that bad for me. You know, because once they started letting those criminals out of jail, right away my dating pool increased. And that's when I became social distance these days. That's my new best friend over there. That is my new best friend. But I don't know, I wasn't really worried about catching it. I wasn't worried about catching the COVID for two different reasons. The first reason is in my household, everybody in the family, like we all use the same bar of soap. So that same bar of soap that like my dad was washing his balls with, I was washing my face with. I don't know why we like anybody over 40, y'all know that's true. You all know that's true, right? But you know, they also said like if you smoke weed, you're less likely to catch it. And weed's legal now, guys. I see you got some of you looking at me like, what? But yeah, they said if you smoke weed, you're less likely to catch it. Like, I don't know, I don't think there's many weed smokers in here. But like, when I smoke my weed, I cough so hard I do a Kegel. If you're a guy and you didn't laugh at that joke, you deserve no Kegels. None at all. Like I smoke so much weed, when my man pulls out, his junk is dry. And that's how tight it is. But I don't know, like I only did this because like I've always wanted a sugar daddy. I've always wanted somebody to take care of me. I just had no idea it was gonna be the government. You got that hush money too, huh? I went from like sugar daddy to an allowance to cut off. Which is why I tried to sell my eggs. Yeah, I couldn't get that much for eggs that have alcohol fetal syndrome. Those little chicks came out with a DUI. I feel like I should have known like we were coming into some tough times. I got diagnosed with diverticulitis right around the pandemic time. Do you guys know what that is? It's a stomach issue, right? I learned 2 things about myself. 1, I really am full of shit. And 2 is that I'm a squirter. What are some of you into? That's a shit joke. That is a shit joke. But I knew it was like real serious when Duck Dynasty stormed the Capitol. But I feel like those were warning signs. Like my body gives me warning signs. Like I'll be in my local Wegmans and I get butterflies in my stomach right before I shoplift. Do it, don't do it. I would have said Trader Joe's, but I didn't want anyone to knock on me tonight. Yeah. So, with everything we went through during that pandemic, like it scared me so bad that I decided I was gonna go out and get myself healthy. The very first thing I did was get a sponsor. She's in a wheelchair, I can't get past the first step. Looks like I'll see some of you at the noontime meeting tomorrow. You know, I haven't eaten a carbohydrate in so long, like, even my lady parts are gluten-free. And they're in need of some moral support with the silent M. Product of the Shrewsbury Public School Systems, Worcester Public School Systems. I know, this is a tricky joke. Like, I always have to tell it twice. Because you have to be able to spell with it. So, I haven't eaten a carbohydrate in so long. Oh, she just got the joke. I haven't eaten a carbohydrate in so long that even my lady parts are gluten-free. And they're in need of some moral support with the silent M. I love that. And you know, just to make sure these lady parts are ready for when I get that moral support with the silent M, I've been douching with Fireball. Cinnamon pancake. It doesn't burn as much as an STD, and it doesn't take 4 red pills to get rid of it. All right, everybody that laughed at that joke has had chlamydia. You know, I started doing sit-ups during the pandemic. Every time I woke up from my nap. I tried a bunch of diets. Like, I tried bulimia. That's a good thing. I tried bulimia, and I love that diet because you can eat whatever you want on it. Just turns out I got a bad gag reflex. I went vegan for a little while. They actually kicked me out for cannibalism. Because even with the bad gag reflex, like, I'm not a quitter. I'm not sure if they were more mad that I had meat in my mouth or that I milked the cow. But then I found these little diet pills. They're amazing. They're called Adderall. And like, I know that they're working because the type of men that have been hitting on me, like random white guys that look like they'll take me in the woods, leave me in a ditch without my kidney, kind of like this guy in the red shirt. You know, I even had a metrosexual guy try to hit on me. And I just wasn't sure which one of us was going to be the man. And you know, like the first time I saw that guy's junk, I felt like it needed seasoning. And when he asked me to spit on it, I missed. You can tell he's kind of a fresh, right? You can tell he's fresh from that. He's so fresh that he decided that we should come up with a safety word for the adult time. The safety word we chose was Cheerio. And I was like, that's perfect, you know, like, that was my favorite cereal growing up as a kid, you know, because we were poor. All I heard was, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, I need a new safety word and a new boyfriend. Ladies, it's super important for you to watch your drinks. Men have came up with a combination of roofies in the morning after pill. And they're actually putting them in our drinks. I eat roofies for breakfast. I sprinkle some Adderall on top of them. So when it happened to me, I knew how to handle the situation. I slipped that guy a Viagra and a laxative. I'm not the only squirter. Take care of your bartenders, because in my real life, you know, I've done plenty of serving, plenty of waitressing gigs, and like, it's not an easy gig. It's not. Because some people feel like they can come over to you and they can say whatever they want to you. Like, I have been asked before, like, when the baby's due. And I used to just be like, no, I'm fat and feel bad for myself. But then I started telling them, I just lost the baby. They give you a great tip afterwards. They really do. They really do. Sometimes little kids, like, they would come and they would sit in my section and they would start whacking down sugar packets like I do cocaine. And their parents would be in the back, and I'd be in the back of the restaurant. Like, I would be in the back, I'd be smashing up my diet pills, breaking up my Adderall, sprinkling them in these little kids' Shirley Temples. And just because I didn't want them to come down wrong, I would put a Wellbutrin in there. Before their macaroni and cheese even touched the table, they were like this. I Bill Cosby little kids, I just don't take them home with me. So, I'm gonna need a little help with the next ones. I'm gonna say, you know yar, and you're gonna say thick chick, right? Because I go by thick chick comedy. That's how you can find me. So let's do a little dry run here and see how it goes. You know yar. Thick chick. All right, do I need to go get the Narcan out of my car, guys? Give me a little life here, a little life, a little bit of energy here. You know yar. Thick chick. When the jeans you're wearing have holes in them that you didn't pay for. You know you're thick chick. When you take a bite of pizza, you burn the roof of your mouth, but you take another bite. You know you're thick chick. When you get to the end of the bag of chips, and then you take this bag of chips and you put them all into your mouth. You know you're thick chick. When you're out delivering Uber Eats, stealing French fries. Yes, thick chick comedy, yes, it is body positive, but it's also the thick skin you need to get through life. One thing I think it's an important message here is do not let one circumstance in your life define you or define who you are. So if you've ever had to overcome any kind of struggle, any kind of adversity, you too could be a thick chick. Guys, my name is Serenity Jones. Thank you so much.
All right, keep it going for Serenity. Jim Bishop is still here over here. And Robert Baldwin is still here